believe it is one of the most artistic.
Ok, este dice que el mejor anime es... Ay, ¿cómo se llama este?
And haunting experiences that you could ever
Serial Experiment Lane.
feel from a piece of anime.
No lo he visto, así
the
que
fact
no
that a
tengo
show
idea.
like this was made back in 1998 and yet it is more relevant today than it ever was just goes to show, I think, its staying power. And the fact that it predicted
o sea,
the
que este vato
future
también tomó en
of
cuenta lo que
social
implicó
media
para el
rotting
mundo,
the brains of the youths.
Pero Naruto clásico no hay que
before
más allá del
social media
relleno.
on the internet was
La
even a
animación de
thing.
Naruto
To
no
say
está
that
tan
Serial
buena.
Experiments Lane was ahead of its time is an understatement because
La
it
gente
wasn't just
remarca
ahead
las
of its
peleas
time
God, pero
because
en
of the
general
message that
los
it tried to
capítulos no
portray.
tienen
The
tan buena
animation
animación,
style,
güey.
sound design, narrative
Unos tenían
exploration,
una animación
and the
bastante
beautiful
mala.
art style by Yoshitoshi Abe. It's just everything that
Pero
I
pues es
want
un anime
in
continuo,
an
¿no?
artistic anime. This
Se
is a
entiende,
show that
pero-
I've probably rewatched close to a dozen times, and
Pero
yet
pues no
every
hay
single
excusas
time I
aquí,
rewatch it,
si no
every
es
single
mejor
time
que
I
el-
read
pues no.
more into it, the
Y-
more
y-
new things I manage to
y Naruto
uncover and
clásico,
discover.
pues,
This
está
isn't
bueno,
exactly
pero
an anime that I would recommend to newcomers of
tampoco
anime,
diría
or
que-
even experienced
que es
watchers
el
of
mejor
anime, because you
jamás
do
hecho.
have to kind of watch it at the right place at the right time. But if you want to see the most raw and gritty
Y menos cuando salga la segunda temporada de Vinland Saga.
artistic expression done in Japanese cartoons, then I think Serial Experiments Lane is definitely at the top of that list. But that's my answer, and here is everyone else's.
Pues medio salté la esto, pero a ver.
Can I ask you a
Aquí
question?
eres. Ok.
What do you think the greatest anime ever made is?
I farted.
A ver.
I don't know, SpongeBob?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
My favorite anime of all time is none other than One Piece, because it's honestly more than a series, it's an experience, a way of life. And above all else, it's really
Es que como anime la animación tiene... Ahorita está muy god, ¿no? Pero... Damn, lo de Rosa, Pon Hazard, Gyojin.
not that long at all.
Oh damn, the best anime.
En historia sí está buenísimo. Y probablemente... Bueno, no sé.
If you had said manga,
No, dijeron anime. Pendejo.
I'm still gonna go with One Piece. Doesn't have the
Ok, One
the
Piece.
seamless pacing like
Una
say
pieza.
Full Metal Alchemist, nor that sweet and juicy animation like Demon Slayer, but world building wise, One Piece is not only the best anime for me, but one of the best works of fiction, period. Now while it
Sí, de eso estoy de acuerdo, nomás que... Bueno, sí.
understandably feels like a very daunting task
Pero
getting
no diré
into
que es
over
mejor.
1,000 episodes of a story, I barely know anyone who didn't get super hooked after trying. It's full to the brim with mystery,
Siento que si yo veo Gintama, termino Gintama, voy a considerarlo bastante, porque Gintama es muy bueno.
incredible characters, and heartfelt
Si
emotions.
es tan bueno, ¿por qué no lo reacciono?
So,
¿Por
yeah,
qué no?
One Piece.
Definitely have to
Pero-
say my favorite anime is One Piece. Past few months,
Ya me
I've
entré,
picked up
loco.
recently. It's just so immersive. I feel like the world building in the show is top of its class, and I just love how compelling all the character backstories are, and how the adventure of them coming from kind of simple beginnings to where they end up in the entire grand scheme of things is just a crazy ass story that I just love how Oda tells us.
My favorite anime of all time is One Piece. Of course it's One Piece. I love the world building, I love the characters, I love everything about it. I just adore it, and I love all the emotional beats that I still remember fondly and I'm still experiencing to this day. When I went to Tokyo Tower
Ya,
in
pero tienes lentes.
Japan, and they had that like little One Piece thing there in Tokyo Tower, which isn't there anymore. You enter into a room and
What?
it plays all of like the manga panels, like animated, and it's like the history of One Piece. And I was sitting there, or standing there, just crying my eyes out because of how much I love One Piece.
Crying my
If I had
eyes
to choose a
out.
favorite, it would easily be One Piece for several reasons. Characters are so well developed and extremely likable. You just fall in love with so many of them. I just found that none of the episodes felt like filler
Pero
episodes.
como agarró todo. Mira, voy a poner lo de One Piece primero, a la verga, rápido. A la verga. Puro One Piece, loco, no varía esto.
They were all equally as exciting and entertaining to watch, and I just found it
Siento
so
que One Piece es
addictive.
como
I
ir a
don't-
la segura, ¿sabes? Como que si te van a decir, pues está muy bueno, te lo acepto, porque el chile, pues sí, ¿no? Yo no diría que es mejor, pero sí acepto que digan eso, no hay pedo. No, ¿por qué nadie dice Nanatsu, Sao? De lo bueno, Recero.
binge like episode after episode. I have really good memories of watching it.
だけど僕は幸せだった
One Piece. Está su reputa madre.
今まで大切にしてくれてどうもありがとう
Ah, pues que verga, si me pones esa escena, pues hasta yo voy a decirte que es el mejor creado, que verga.
One Piece. It's One Piece.
My favourite anime is GTO, Great Teacher Onizuka.
No, hasta que alguien dice algo diferente. No he visto, vi los openings nomás.
Like a gang member who
Ya no está la reacción más, pero...
becomes a teacher at a school, and he does
So One
that
Piece
by
tiene
virtue
varios
of the
caps,
fact that he
etc.
wants a teenage
Varios-
wife. A little bit
tiene un
questionable,
chingo.
probably wouldn't get commissioned outside of Japan, but I love it for 3 reasons.
Varios, si te refieres varios por Punk Hazard, por Gyojin, por... por
Number one, it
Skypiea,
deals with
sí, son
genuinely
varios.
serious subjects like bullying, suicide, sexual abuse, and Onizuka himself, he deals with these problems using his sort of unconventional methods, usually by just punching someone in the
Y los
face.
capítulos de Remedy en el anime son insufribles. En el...
Number 2, I like it because I myself was a teacher when I watched GTO, and I saw a lot of the
En el anime.
issues in my everyday life, and I wish that I had an Onizuka figure, someone who
Pero pues está diciendo que se identifica, que por eso...
didn't play by the rules, someone who, again, just punched someone in the face to get through a problem. And number 3, I love it because it has the best theme tune of any anime, Driver's High by Larkensiel. And when I got to meet Hyde from Larkensiel, the singer who performs it, I got to thank him personally for just making the greatest song ever. For those reasons, GTO, check it out, it's amazing.
Pero bueno, tiene que poner cuál es el mejor, porque si pone cuál es el favorito, pues a nadie le importa, ¿sabes? No hay polémica en eso, es su favorito, ¿sabes?
So many I could name right now. Like Psychopaths, Full Metal Alchemist
No lo he visto. Si me dicen Full Metal, sí lo acepto, güey, la neta.
Brotherhood, Attack on
Sí te digo, está bien. Attack on
Titan,
Titan, no tanto.
Gintama is freaking hilarious.
Gintama, es que Gintama, con lo que he visto, siento que sí. Si dicen, si lo que escucho de Gintama es cierto, de que Gintoki es uno de los mejores personajes jamás creados, de que tiene arcos bastante potentes después, todo ese tipo de cosas. Y
There's Trigun, which is a blast from the past.
si siguen los arcos serios como lo está tratando actualmente, quitando ciertos, porque hay veces que sí está un poquito aburrido. Está muy potente.
But if I had to name a special one, I think it would be Great Teacher Onizuka. I watched that only once when I was a kid, and it changed me. That anime is so stupid on one side, but also so wise and philosophic in the other.
O sea
and
que
it
este verga
draws
lo
you
va a repartir por cada anime que dice lo mismo. No, si no tiene chiste, loco, así lo haces aburrido el video.
in with the fun, but then it hits you with the
Ya me hizo
wisdom.
culpar
Also, I
porque
still
Akira
got
Mano
the
hizo los
openings
diseños
of
y
that
sí
show
estaba pro.
stuck in my head
No sé
after
quién
all
verga es
these
ese
years.
güey.
Hunter, Hunter. Okay, every arc is completely different, new character,
Lo acepto.
there's new story, but it also
A ver, pues
introduces
obviamente lo va a aceptar, pues es mi anime favorito, Hunter, porque a ver, pues voy a aceptártelo, yo te lo acepto.
completely new concepts of like how to fight, what it even means to fight, and also the main characters kind of change, like who the main character
focuses,
is.
yeah.
But it doesn't matter because the characters are so well written. It's pretty long, but I always watch the full thing at least once every year.
Very
Sit down.
rewatchable for sure.
Yeah.
Bueno,
So
yo no lo veo
Togashi
cada
Hunter
año,
Hunter, baby.
Mine is JoJo. With
Good
JoJo
call.
tattoos, we can't really say
That's true.
anything else. I really
Mira, se lo acepto, güey.
like and respect
Estos dos son de cultura.
to Alex Sense's kind of creativity and imagination when it comes to JoJo. It seems like he poured everything in that series. I honestly don't know where it comes from. Like
El problema sería que pues tiende a ser muy episódico.
how does he think of these in the first place?
Nobody
Entonces, a veces dices tú,
The scientists are on it right now.
Joey, the animation gentleman, asked me a question. Which anime is the best of all time? So many things to choose from. The art style, the storyline, the characters, the overall theme. The dub cop. No, don't say that.
Is it Attack on Titan? Compelling storyline, excellent character development, art style. Who knows what could happen the next episode? Everyone could die. Everyone could live. Nobody knows. It's the first anime that made me read the manga. But no, this is not it. Is it Evangelion? Where it all started. My first anime. Absolutely chilling. Nightmares as a kid. Excellent character. Well, some of the character. Well, I mean, the robots are cool, but no, there can only be one choice. It has to be.
Pero pues muchos dicen que sí. ¡Qué verga!
Excellent humor, wonderful characters, art style
Pobre
on
mano,
point.
su nuevo manga
Doesn't try
tiene
to
tremendo
copy
dibujo, la
anything
trama
else,
está muy
doesn't try to emulate, just
creada,
does its own
pero sus
thing
ventas y
and
vistas
in
están
style. There's a reason why this guy is the most handsome character ever made, and he's gonna stay that way for all time. Look at him.
Pero pues yo no sé quién es ese güey.
The anime character. The anime. Perfect in every way.
My favorite anime is, and to nobody's surprise, it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. But it might not be.
No se nota. No se nota. Puro de yoyo, el verga. ¿Qué machín cambia el audio, no? De uno a
For the
otro.
reasons why you think. Yes, I love the show. I love the plot
Yes,
of JoJo.
I love the
suck
show.
dick,
I love
all
it.
right? JoJo to me is so much more about
JoJo to me
its
is so
style
about
and what it
the
offers
style
to
and what it
anime
offers to
and
anime.
manga as a whole. And the fact that so many anime and manga have referenced JoJo's is a testament to just how influential it is. You know something's JoJo and it doesn't give a fuck about being JoJo. And also, come on, I mean,
Una
the
verdad
fight...
sobre yoyo que tienen que aceptar los fans es que realmente no hay tantas referencias a yoyo.
It's just so goddamn insane, and they have some of the most hype and most absurd, bizarre fights in all of anime and manga. I'm always smiling when I'm watching it.
The best anime I've ever seen is Full Metal Alchemist. As the original Anime Zone trademark, Full Metal Alchemist is one of the greatest stories ever told. For anime, it's a classic among classic. For the rest of my life, I'll never forget the story of Ed, Alphonse, Roy Mustang, Hugh.
Pero se refiere al normal, o sea, al 2003 o al Brotherhood. Al normal o al gay.
Risa, I think that's the character, for the rest of my life. And that's why, to me, Full Metal Alchemist is the greatest anime ever made.
On my top 10 list, Haikyuu, Attack on Titan, Steins Gate.
Caminata. ¿A poco eso significa Haikyuu? Caminata.
Haikyuu, Attack on Titan, Steins Gate, you know?
No he visto Steins Gate completo.
Silent Voice.
Nah, Silent Voice no.
These are all up there.
Ni Haikyuu no lo considera el mejor anime.
There's only one anime
Dijo otro, pero no me acuerdo.
that truly deserves the top spot, and that's Sword Art Online.
Obviamente está bromeando, luego. Mira, no quiero chistes.
Link start. I believe the best anime to be
¿sí lo
Full
pensé?
Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. First things first, we have to differentiate the difference between your personal favorite anime.
La diferencia entre uno que ve Fullmetal y uno que ve Sao. La diferencia de cultura entre uno que ve Fullmetal y uno que ve Sao.
I believe the best anime to be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. First things first, we have to differentiate the difference between your personal favorite anime and what is the best anime. My personal favorite anime is actually Hunter x Hunter, but we have to put our personal feelings aside and acknowledge truly what is
Fíjate, estoy
the
de acuerdo en eso, que yo sí pongo a Fullmetal arriba que Hunter, pero mi favorito es Hunter, güey.
best of the best, and I believe that to be FMA Brotherhood. Why? Story, great story, original, pacing from start to finish, paced incredibly well, characters unique in design, and also the way they're written. I'm never bored when it comes to all the side characters. Speaking of characters, waifu, Rinri, Rockbell, Hawkeye, Riza, Gluttony, whatever floats your boat. Incredible selection of waifus. Animation, animated
Quiero ver
incredibly.
Jaime no Hippo, dicen que está bien verga. Aparte sí se vale poner que te identifiques con personajes. A mí me gusta Jujutsu porque me gustan culonas. Sí, cierto. A mí Maki, con lentes. A mí me gustan con lentes. Fullmetal Hermandad. Ah, sí, cierto, Brotherhood es Hermandad. No me acordaba. Boruto.
Well, from
Sí, cierto, habrá uno que diga Boruto.
start to finish, along.
De hecho, se me hace raro que nadie haya dicho Naruto. Ni Naruto, ni Dragon Ball.
That the action is
Porque
back.
siento que la única manera que pongas a Dragon Ball aquí es por lo que implicó, por lo que fue, por lo que hizo, ¿sabes? ¿Sabes? Más que por un anime bien animado o buena historia.
Balanced incredibly well with the plot points, the writing, a good balance.
Pero
It's
sí,
not
quiero ver Hajime, dicen que está muy bueno.
just eye
Y
candy.
ahorita ando muy viciado con el box y con el Muay Thai y con esas cosas.
And also the feel. This one's a little hard to explain. Just the aesthetic of it. And also, very importantly so, it has an ending. It starts and it
A ver,
ends.
¿por qué
And
pone a los homúnculos como negros, pero el dios es blanco, ¿Por qué?
the ending is great. You're not yearning for more. They put a cap on it and they say it's done, which you really have
Ya
to
loco, habló
respect
mucho este verga.
nowadays. So all things
Son
considered,
100,
That is
No
why
hay tanto
I
tiempo
truly
para que
believe
hable de
Full
todo
Metal
eso.
Alchemist Brotherhood is the best anime of all time.
In my opinion, the best anime of all time is Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist! I grew up reading the manga with my sister, so it's very nostalgic for me, but I love the plot, I love the characters, I love Armstrong, I love Ed, I love Alphonse, I love them all. It's just very
Las pelirrojas están muy bonitas.
dear to my heart, and I watch it over and over again.
Y aparte de resalta porque tiene el maquillaje aquí igual, así naranja fuerte y el labial también, entonces resalta mucho el pelirrojo.
Big fan. 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna have to say Dragon Ball Z because I
Sí lo dijo, hay un verga que dijo.
challenge you to name one other anime about buff dudes beating the hell out of other buff dudes. Didn't think so.
Yoyos. Dijo buff, no dijo aficionados. Dijo buff como potentes. Yoyos. Ay, moví el subtítulo.
I already know a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but I gotta go with Dragon Ball Z. You know, in the 30 years since it's come out, there are a lot of anime with better pacing, cleaner art, more complex narratives, but none of them will ever have anything nearly as cool as a Super Saiyan transformation.
There's actually so...
Pues no, hay muchas transformaciones que están igual potentes. ¿Este quién verga es? Una tuitera. Dice voice actor. Ah, es una seiyuu. ¿Pero de qué personaje?
much to choose from, but I think it would be Bleach because it's one of the first few
Bleach, fíjate, no me esperaba que dijeran Bleach.
animes that I started watching when I was back in Australia. For those who haven't seen Bleach, please do because it's really great. The characters are so
Es muy bueno, Bleach, a mí me gusta mucho.
awesome. My favorite is Ichimaru Ging, but yeah, there's so
Ichimaru King. ¿Qué verga es eso? Ichimaru... Ah, Ichimaru Gin, el Gin. Pero sale bien poquito ese verga,
lots of
güey.
actors out there, so
Sale 2 capítulos y lo mata.
please watch it if you haven't already. And it's one of the animes that made me want to become a seiyuu in Japan. So if I
Pero ¿quién es? Quiero saber quién es. ¿Cómo se llama?
hadn't watched
No quiero... No, lo voy a...
Bleach, I wouldn't be doing what I do right now in Japan. So
De hecho vi un meme donde dicen muchos de que lo que los fans creen de donde se inspiran los mangakas y sale que se inspiran de Naruto. Lo que los mangakas dicen de lo que se inspiran y todos son a Bleach, Jujutsu, Boku no Hero, Black Clover, etcétera. Como que le agarran más bueno,
yeah, that's my personal favorite.
My favorite anime of all time is Bleach. What can I say? The characters are... But I think the
Dios, tiene 30 millones.
best anime of all time is probably Death Note.
The pacing
Death Note es muy bueno.
itself is so intense that every episode itself packs so much information into it that some
No me gusta no sé, esto se ve, para mí se ve feo.
anime take an entire season
Como que no siento que le quede bien este mechón rosa a todo lo demás, ¿sabes? Pero bueno, cada
to provide to you, but somehow the information
no
is
soy
presented in a
moda.
way where it doesn't overwhelm
Bleach tiene
you.
diseño de
Also,
personaje.
bonus point for being extremely memeable.
Falta
Look at this
grande
shit.
Boyi.
Look at this shit. To people,
Doctor Stone, bueno, Doctor Stone yo nunca me he visto el anime, así que no sé qué tan buen anime sea. Lo poquito que vi, no, la animación estilo Finra. Exacto, literal.
people who say anime is trash, your name please.
Pero pues este güey, bueno.
The end is Also, Joe, you're paying me more since I'm appearing on camera instead of just editing this, right?
Wow, Joe, that's a tough question because I have seen so many anime, but my favorite one is funny. I can't even remember the name, but I can describe it. So it's about
¿Cómo no te acuerdas de tu favorito? What the fuck?
a guy. He gets a girlfriend. His dad is in the police. He has a diary, I think, and he was always writing stuff in it. He loves that fucking diary. He's always carrying it with him wherever he goes. And then he's at school and he makes friends with this autistic kid. He's good at tennis. I can't remember. The funny thing is, it's actually a derivative of another manga, which was originally called Gay Note. And Gay Note is the premise is if anyone writes your name in it, you become gay. And so this guy...
Güey, te juro que pensé que lo decía en serio. Dije, está diciendo que está contando. What? Su favorito. Pero ya después me di cuenta que es bait.
fight Yagami.
No lo
and then he
capté.
gets caught in this head-to-head with this guy called LGBTQ. And he... No, okay. All right. in all
Picadura de la cobra gay.
seriousness,
Si te
favorite
pica te
anime.
vuelves gay.
My favorite is that 2-minute compilation you sometimes see on Twitter of just food being made by Studio Ghibli. That one. That's my favorite one.
Being completely honest, I think One Punch Man.
Wow.
Saitama is a hilariously comical
Su animación
character
está muy
in the
potente,
anime
sobre todo
world,
la
and I find
primera,
it very
pero
refreshing when I see that type
no
of
diría que
comedy,
es el mejor,
because
muy
normally
de
everything's
pedo.
just great stories and blood and
Está
gore and
buena la historia,
sadness,
pero no sé.
and then all of a sudden you have Saitama come in, and he's like this comedic relief.
I'm about to get canceled for this. My favorite anime is One Punch Man because it's the only anime.
Pero estás diciendo cuál es su favorito. Nadie te va a cancelar por eso, loco. Estás diciendo cuál es mejor, no tu favorito.
Ever finished. And I know that that's really, really, really bad. And I should watch more anime. And that's not even the best anime. And there's so many things. It's just the only anime that I've ever watched all the way through.
Is definitely Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
Oh. Respeto. Por este verga, I like. Bueno. Por este verga, bueno, no estoy en mi cuenta. Bueno, da igual. Por este verga me gustó el video.
That is the only acceptable way of pronouncing it. It starts off as
Tengen
this
Toppa
crazy over-the-top
Gurren
action shonen, which is fun,
Porque hay
but
otro que
then
es
around
Dai
episode
Tengen
8,
Toppa Gurren
things
Lagann,
take
creo.
a crazy
Algo
turn.
así.
After
El
that, we
azul.
get twist after twist, and the stakes just keep going higher and higher until they literally cannot go any higher. I love the plot, I love the characters, I love the music,
Nunca
but
viste
the
un
thing
video
that
de
I love
comida.
the most about Gurren Lagann is how much it motivates me
Gurren
in
Lagann.
real life. I mean, who needs like Gary Vee and shit when you have Kamina?
Believe it or not, you guys, it's actually not JoJo. My favorite has gotta be Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. That
Oye,
anime has been
la
with
mona
me
le
for
sabe.
more than half of my existence. It's a part of my own like belief
Verga, le
system
botan la chichi, loco.
at this point. It's a very core piece of me. It sounds corny as corny.
Ya no le puedo mirar la cara, loco.
The truth, that's the
Bueno,
truth.
sí, porque están los subtítulos y tapan un poquito.
Just wanted to let you know.
I think for me, my favorite anime is always going to be Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann
Es que
because
sí, es un gran anime. Si no fuera Hunter, Tengen Toppa fuera mi favorito. Y tiene a mi waifu favorita, que es Nia. Sí, no, Nia.
when
se
I was
llama.
in middle school, I was going through a rut. I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Aunque
with my
Yoko me caga, güey. Pinche Yoko me cae mal, loco.
future. You know, most middle schoolers don't. The message of the show, it really spoke to me, you know, like doing the impossible and throwing all logic to the wind and just trying your best at what you really want to do and just go for it. Honestly, I think it helped me become a voice actor. I don't know if I would be in my position that I am now without that show. It definitely was a big part of, you know, where I am today.
My favorite anime is Gurren Lagann. It's the tale of persistence, perseverance, and overcoming great loss. One of the reasons this show has a special place in my heart is because a friend of mine, he was an animator, and we bonded over how incredible the show's animation was and just how powerful the message of the show, which was like always moving forward.
Lo dropeé porque me quedé en el capítulo 13 y ya no lo retomé. Pero bueno.
Truly was. The same friend had a way with always silencing any doubt I had about pursuing my dreams as an animator. He was so driven. If he told you that you could do something you truly, truly believed in, then to all of our disbelief, he passed away due to a tragic accident. After my friend's passing, I found myself watching Gurren Lagann again. It's the story of a young man overcoming the tragic loss of his own friend and then growing into a person that he could have been proud of. I'll never forget what Gurren Lagann did for me to pull me out of that really dark place. It meant a lot to me and my friend Monty. This was hard to record.
Anime's fucking awesome. I don't know why this is controversial, but my favorite anime is actually Sword Art Online. Yeah, season 1 specifically. When I first started watching anime, maybe like, I don't know, 5 years ago or something, I watched it and it really reminded me of WoW. Like I used to play a lot of World of Warcraft. It really like brought me back.
Es que al inicio sí te deja eso, esa sensación, está muy bueno. No, por pendejo, ¿por qué no lo ves? No tengo la culpa, ya tiene 20 años que salió esa madre. Bueno, no 20, tiene 15. Pero tu culpa ya.
I don't know why, like I could tie it together and just like I was like, dude, like imagine if this was WoW. Like,
pero igual ni sabes de quién verga es Nia, así que tampoco han mencionado Monster ni Cowboy Bebop. Monster no lo he visto, entonces no tengo ni idea. Sé que hay un güey que no sé si es el villano o el prota, pero hay un güey que se llama Johan o Johan, uno de esos dos es con yo como es Johan. Bueno, ese verga, no sé si es el prota o el villano, pero me han dicho muchas cosas buenas de ese verga.
Oh, like, I don't know. Yeah, you know, hot take, but honestly, it's probably the best anime of all time.
Este güey está jugando, ¿no?
Yeah, seriously.
For me, my favorite
bueno.
anime, I've gone ahead.
Pues está bien, pues dijo que su favorito, ya al final pues...
And I've picked Attack on Titan. The reason being is because it's just a great
Ese güey parece vikingo, güey. Al menos esto, no sé.
series. Every episode is left open with questions that need answering. It's just a world of mystery, and that's why I
Mira
love
tener
it.
los ojos azules, güey, parecer vikingo, tener barba así, güey. Me hijo de la chingada, y uno así, morenito.
I love watching something where every episode I'm asking more and more questions. Not to mention the music. My God, Attack on Titan. If you ever have a chance, you haven't even watched the series, I definitely recommend you go listen to the soundtracks for Attack on Titan. The music that comes out of that show is just spectacular. Even sometimes I find myself on the freeway just, bopping my head to the opening themes. So, yeah.
Escúchalo en Spotify si te gusta tanto la música, güey.
Favorite anime? Attack on Titan.
León Chiro. Italia es como modelo italiano, es cosplayer.
How can you do this to me, Joey? Like asking me a real life anime character, what is my favorite anime of all times? How
Güey, esos ojos, loco.
a reply? How can I give you a reply? I got this. Attack on Titan, because it's a masterpiece and because it's full of
Es una obra maestra, Dai. Aparece Dai. ¿Dónde estás, Dai?
lots of details that you watch the first season, you will recognize in the last season and whatsoever. No spoilers, only villains do that. My first anime ever, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because you will see. And last
Que verga, entonces, ¿por qué dijo Shingeki?
Because of the concept of living
Uno giro,
and becoming a
Y menos con la quinta temporada, menos.
pillar of positivity and motivation for the next one, becoming a hero, believing in yourself, just like Kamina, Aniki, Gurren Lagann, which by the way I recommend to all of you watching.
ReZero. It is an excellent series that stands out. If I'm not even counting the second season that recently aired, that is just out of this world great. The voice acting of ReZero.
Está bromeando, ¿no? Porque según yo lo que estoy viendo aquí es One Piece. Todo esto dice One Piece. ¿Por qué dice ReZero, loco? Aparte ReZero es horrible.
Absolutely stacked. Like, the amount of love that each individual voice actor has for their character within ReZero is out of this world. It blows my mind.
Está entretenido, fíjate. No te voy a decir que no, pero el arco este de la ballena me parece tan aburrido, loco.
But one thing that really just kind of summarizes it.
Sin mencionar que tiene un prota tan asqueroso. Bueno, no vi la segunda temporada, maybe tan buena, ¿no? Pero la primera temporada a mí no me gustan. Nomás el inicio me gusta.
Although, is that it is clearly a passion project from the entire staff that worked on it, and the voice actors to the animators, everyone.
My favorite anime probably has to be ReZero. I mean, what's there not to like about ReZero? You got waifus, you got cute traps, and...
Se vio bien turbio esta mona. Bueno, no mona, es re bueno, sí mona, va, pero... Se ve muy chichona, ¿no?
Waifus? Why wouldn't you love ReZero? It's an amazing...
Verga, güey, sí, güey. No quiero ser mamón, pero verga.
Isekai anime.
O sea, prácticamente es el estereotipo de lo que tienen de gente que ve anime, güey.
Who has to struggle.
Que no tiene nada de malo que vea anime, ¿no? Pero pues la mona. Que tenga una mona de tamaño real, no sé, güey. Te pasa que tenga así un monito.
And he has to basically work hard to get what he wants.
Pero bueno,
perfect ending.
Si tiene dinero y es suyo, que mira, viejo, yo no te voy a decir nada. Adelante.
He's gotta get it. The animation's great, the music's
No
amazing.
te voy a decir que no lo haría porque no tengo el dinero para contestarlo.
And the characters are chef's kiss. I know people are gonna be like, that just came out.
Probablemente yo tendría una de Boa Hancock o de
That's
Robin.
pretty mid. In my opinion,
O de
I
Nia.
think it's probably one of the best animes ever. The story's absolutely amazing. The characters are detailed. Animation and art is great throughout the entire show. The way they told their story and how they introduced characters and everything really brought me into the world. So Mushoku Tensei, in my opinion, is the best anime.
So mine is Steins Gate. The performances in both Japanese and English are incredible. The writing is
Habrá uno, si hay de Sao y hay de ReZero, va a haber de Nanatsu.
impeccable. More than any other show that I've seen.
O bueno, no, porque la tercera y cuarta temporada está horriblemente fea.
It is able to
En mi vida he conocido a alguien que su anime favorito sea Boku no Hero. Si alguien menciona un HM...
take
quitando a Overflow, que es lo más dicho, Hay uno que se llama... ¿Cómo se llama el anime? No me acuerdo el nombre, lo siento, pero está muy bueno.
A topic that's very cerebral, very heady, time travel, and add a human element to it. I think the show does a better job at doing that than any other that I've seen, and for that reason, I choose Steins Gate.
So 70 plus episodes about boxing might sound boring, especially when you're not into sports anime.
A ver, 70 capítulos de boxeo, probablemente dice Hajime, ¿no?
But Hajime no Ippo is
Hajime no Ippo.
godlike.
A ver, siento que de lo que yo he escuchado junto con Slam Dunk, han dicho que son de los mejores de Pokémon. El Hajime y Slam Dunk. No los he visto ni uno. Ni uno de los dos.
Everything. Comedy, romance, amazing action, great music,
¿A poco tiene romance? Ah, chinga, ¿tiene romance? ¿De dónde? Bueno, que yo no conozco a waifu. Pero sí, va. Sí, Kengan Ashura tenía un romance raro. Baki tiene el romance raro con esa que no me cae nada bien, güey, esa morra, güey. Se hubiera ido con el negro, güey.
Actually, that's super banger of an opening. Plus, it has an amazing
y aparte, creo que Baki tiene uno de los argumentos más god que he visto en relación a una relación con otra persona, güey. Lo que le dice a esa morra enfrente del negro, güey. Es uno de los mejores diálogos que he escuchado yo. Lo de todo el mundo tiene derecho a que le guste. Esa madre, güey. Yo dije, Baki,
cast of unique characters. They're all funny and likable. They go through amazing character development. You know, they go through tragedy, heartbreak, triumph, defeats. And I ended up rooting for all of them, to be honest. I love all the characters. You don't even have to know anything about boxing to enjoy this anime. It's just that good. It's just really entertaining. It's super funny. Like, Hajime no Ippo is comedy gold.
My favorite anime of all time is Kuroko no Basuke. Sports anime have always been.
Dios, te lo juro que por un momentito, así chiquitito, pensé que era Umaru, güey. Pero muy poquito, ¿no? Ya después ya sí se puede decir. Ya no, pero ¿qué dijo? Kuroko, no lo he visto.
A favorite of mine, and I think what all of the really great sports anime do is balance the heart of the characters with the spirit of the sport itself. And Kuroko, for me, totally nails that. The animation as the show goes on is incredible. Voice acting is incredible. Character development, openings are incredible. Keisei is incredible. There's just so much incredibleness about the series. Overall, it's just a solid, fun, heartwarming story about boys who just want to play basketball with friendship. And that's all it needs to be, and I love it so much.
My favorite anime is Mind Game, directed by Masaaki Yuasa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
¿Cómo? Masaaki Yuasa. Ay, güey, en mi puta vida había escuchado yo de este anime. Sí conozco este güey, este verga es el que hizo Devilman Crybaby, ¿no? O ese es otro.
So I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm white. It's about a dude given free reign to make the craziest animated movie you probably will ever see. It's about life, love, overcoming all obstacles, gaining confidence, coming of age, but it's also about a dude.
La mayoría de edad, what the fuck. Prácticamente dijo un shonen cualquiera. ¿Por qué los subtítulos se van para arriba, loco? Su puta madre, me hizo trazarlo el imbécil. Video de... ¿Y este quién es? Dijo de él, no, ya. Aquí está este verga. Ya me vale verga, ni conozco ese pinche anime.
It's Hibiki Euphonium. They reached that #1 spot.
Otro anime que no conozco, loco.
I don't know why I'm using a Fortnite analogy.
Euphonium.
Into it, suck my dick. So,
pero bueno, no sé, dicen los nombres en inglés, loco, y yo no lo conozco.
Hibiki Euphonium exceeds expectations. It tells a mature story that I did not expect when I went into an anime.
Pero es sorprendente que en media hora nadie ha dicho Naruto, güey.
About fucking band club, basically. Something else that also sticks out to me is the voice direction, because there's huge differences between like indoor voices and outdoor voices. Like indoor voices are actually indoor voices and outdoor voices
no creo que hagan ese chiste, porque según yo allá en Estados Unidos no tan más cancelables que acá. O sea, como que andan más canceladores, pues.
Voices. The music performances.
A decir, ¿cómo haces un chiste? No sé. Pues bueno, quién sabe. Y siento que ese chiste es más de aquí de Latinoamérica de que Estados Unidos.
They're immaculate. They're immaculate.
Bueno, era porque ese chiste es más viejo de la verga.
The band scenes are really good as well because like they actually put a lot of detail into that, especially when it comes to like if someone's like off timing, they'll be actually off timing and all that shit, blah blah blah. So okay, I'm gonna start rambling now. Hibike Euphonium, watch Hibike Euphonium, watch Hibike Euphonium, please. Watch Hibike Euphonium, watch Hibike Euphonium.
So I picked two favorite anime series only because one of them is the one where you watch once a decade, you come back to it and you be like, okay, that's still the good. Then the other anime series is Bite-Size Adventures and you just love the characters.
Yu Yu Hakusho, sí cierto, olvidé seguirla, se me olvidó. Pero bueno, como ya no hago tanto stream y nada, apenas grabándolo y subiéndolo. O sea, grabándolo de vez en cuando ver 2 capítulos así, poquito a poquito, en vez de hacer stream y andar todo estresado con más cosas, verlo yo a mi gusto, así planeo hacerle con Gintama, porque si no nunca lo voy a ver. De que grabarlo así sin streamear y subirlo a YouTube de una. Y aparte también tengo algo para que vean videos en YouTube, porque la gente pues viene a verlo acá y ya no ve los videos en YouTube y para que lo subo entonces sí me gustaría agarrar Yu Yu Hakusho y Gintama para solamente YouTube. Y ya. Quitando los arcos serios, pues sí verlos aquí. Lo que digas tú, verga, este arco es top. Pues ya lo vemos en Twitch. Ya para que lo puedan ver a full. Y ya, ¿no? Y ya luego lo subo. Pero los arcos graciosos, ahí sí verlos yo mismo. Yo terminé Yu Yu Hakusho hace una semana y sí es un buen shonen. Y el final es bueno. Pero bueno, ya veré qué hago con Gintama y con Yu Yu Hakusho.
And is super rewatchable. So the first one would be Clannad After Story. Yeah, I know, very popular choice, you know, but I love what I love. It resonates with me because before I started watching anime, I did not know that you could cry to anime before. I literally cried at the end of every episode of Clannad After Story. It was just ridiculous. I just discovered I was a huge pussy, man. Okay, and then my next favorite, bite-sized fun adventures is
huge pussy.
Ranma 1.5. I love all the characters. Every time they get splashed by water, they transform into a cute little animal. Ranma turns into a girl, gets himself into funny conflicts because, you know, it's funny.
To get the coveted favorite in my book, it's none other than the
decir, One Piece, pero no, porque si aquí tiene más cosas. Tiene aquí... Entonces es Street Fighter... ¿Uno es de Pokémon? No, este es del otro, del que hizo Dragon Ball. Había otro
anime and manga legend herself, Rumiko Takahashi's Ranma 1.5. There's nothing above her to me. Between all the unique characters, the art style, the quirky humor, you really can't go wrong with a feel-good anime that stands the test of time and makes you smile no matter how old you are.
My favorite anime is Monster by Urasawa Naoki. I love its setting, characters, and plot, but the real reason I love it so much is because of its straightforward, focused storytelling. There are no filler episodes that you could just throw away, no abrupt flashbacks or parallel universes to tie up any loose ends, and the series never ever breaks character. Monster has a serious story that it tells in a serious way, and that's why it's my favorite anime.
This is a series that I've read the entirety of the manga of, as well as watched the entirety of the anime of. And for me, that is none other than the best anime, or best series really, in the world, Monster. Now, initially I got into Monster because I am a big fan of true crime, but as you start to dig into a bit more of the story, you realize it is much, much more than that. We see people grow from innocent to cold, to malicious to repentant. It is also a series where you truly can't predict what happens. No other series exists like Monster, and I am grateful every single day that I got to consume it in my lifetime, and that I have my entire life to consume it over and over again.
My favorite anime would have to be Ghost in the Shell, because I'm a huge fan of stories that explore what it means to be human. There's some great action. I'm a huge sucker for sci-fi, and the animation is beautiful. I love the aesthetic of the show. I love how they use futuristic tech to solve all sorts of problems. It's a very unique and creative show. So yeah, that's my answer.
There's like 3 that come to the top of my head. So the first one is Nichijou. I think Nichijou is super funny, it's hilarious. I had a really fun time watching it. It's incredibly entertaining. Animation goes hard. Banger openings. And then we have Cardcaptor Sakura, which also has a banger soundtrack, and it's gorgeous, and it's, you know, classic Maho shoujo. There's a lot of nostalgia.
Ese diseño de personajes de ¿cómo era? Cardcaptor Sakura. No me gusta nada, güey. Estos diseños de personajes se me hacen feos, güey.
and it's gorgeous.
Y también se ve rara, loco, esta VTuber.
And it's, you know, classic Maho shoujo. There's a lot of nostalgia attached to why Cardcaptor Sakura is my favorite. And I think for like most Cardcaptor Sakura fans, it's a lot of nostalgia too. And my third favorite is Fruits Basket, of course. It's always been one of my favorites, also for nostalgic reasons. I've never felt so emotionally attached to a bunch of characters. You know, it explores a lot of different relationships. And even though it's, you know, super dramatic, which usually isn't what I'm into, I love it a lot.
There is one anime that just sticks out to me as my forever favorite, and that is Fruits Basket. I think the way that the show navigates like a lot of subjects like friendship and romance, contrasted with more heavier focuses like the tragedy of loss and the need for belonging. It makes for this like crazy midlife crisis roller coaster that you strap yourself in for. You're not ready for it because
lo último que leí fue manga de algo así dramático de romance fue Good Ending. Inosuke Ana creo que se llama. La morra que ve por un hoyo al otro y así y viceversa. Esos dos son los últimos así de drama que vi.
You just wanted to watch this really cute looking anime and it's not that. It is cute, but you're in for something completely different. And there's one thing that I have taken away from her as a person. It's this rice ball analogy that she says in one of the episodes. And the analogy is basically along the lines of sometimes we look at ourselves and we just see something plain and that there's nothing special there. When actually you have the prettiest glowing plum and it's delicious and it's on your back and everyone admires it and sees how special you are, but you can't because it's on your back. But just know that people see you and see your worth. The ultimate takeaway from Fruits Basket is the world can be cruel, but it's not deprived of kindness, and I think that is why it is my favorite. Also, the doctor's really hot. All the characters are hot. They're really hot.
Fruits Basket! Oh my god, that's the best one. Hands down.
What the fuck, what the fuck? Está muy raro esto. Varias cosas. Creo que está vestida de... Bueno, no sé si... No es. Iba a decir que está vestida de la de Mushoku Tensei, pero no es Mushoku. No es la morra esa. ¿Por qué está bichi? ¿En nieve, loco? ¿Y furra? No entiendo. Bichi... Está bien chichona. Ay, chichona, güey. No voy a escuchar nada, no voy a leer nada de lo que dice, güey. Sé que dijo canasta de frutas también, pero hasta ahí.
Most wholesome shit ever. And it made me cry a lot. I like anime that makes me cry.
If I had to pick a favorite anime, it would
ya lo quitó, güey.
Probably have to be Cardcaptor Sakura. There are a lot of reasons to like CCS, but I think I can boil it down to the fact that I just like all of the characters. Whether they are friends of Sakura, family, or even villains to her. Everyone gets redeemed in some sort of way that just seems very rewarding. I would hope so for a show that is 70 episodes long, and 2 movies, and another series that's 24 episodes long. There's great action, awesome romance, great animation.
Siento yo que Cardcaptor por la foto que vi se parecía tipo Madoka Mágica. No creo que sea mejor que Madoka. Madoka es muy bueno, güey. Quizás lo es. Estoy hablando por hablar, pero no creo que sea mejor que Madoka. Tengo que ver lo que sigue de Madoka. No vi la primera temporada, pero está buenísima.
Boatloads of character development, and it's also kind of cool that Sakura wears something different every single episode. That's like really awesome attention to detail.
Pues obviamente, pues algo diferente en cada episodio. Pues sí, güey, sería el mismo episodio.
Still Cardcaptor Sakura for days, but that's why it's my favorite show.
So my knee-jerk answer to this question was to say Space Patrol Luluko. Luluko feels like the purest distillation of what I love about Trigger. In part because it's super irreverent, it's funny, it's insanely well animated, it doesn't take itself seriously whatsoever, still makes you feel
things. Yo me considero otaku, digo, no te desconozco las cosas y jamás había escuchado esto yo.
Best of all, the episodes are literally 6 minutes long, so
¿por qué no se pausa?
Season 1 in...
Porque tiene un póster de una morra sosteniendo como un 10 en bichi, loco.
In 18 minutes, I think they divided the
Hay gente rara, loco.
Show up into 3 episode seasons, which is one more
¿Y qué es este círculo?
layer of of what's silly about this show. He's got
y lo tiene en un cuadro aparte, hombre. Le ha de gustar un chingo el día eso.
Like shots where there are tons and tons of like background characters.
Se ve bien aburrido, no te voy a echar mentiras.
See again,
no lo vería.
Clearly thought and character design went into. That's like one of my favorite things in the world, and Luluco's full of that. Just the best vibes, I think, on the planet. In addition to being funny and explosive, it's like a concentrated dose of Trigger that takes 6 minutes.
Y uno aquí va con su telecilla de 32 pulgadas de 2,000 pesos y este verga.
To ingest. It is the purest form of what I love about this studio. So that's my answer. Please watch Space Patrol Luluco.
Neon Genesis Evangelion. I mean, it's a mecha sci-fi thrill ride with a bunch of religious undertones, which makes it already really interesting and exciting as it is. But the real star of the show with this
Nunca había escuchado a alguien decir Evangelion. Siempre es Evangelion.
Is that the characters all feel so real. The way they interact with each other and bounce off each other have very long-lasting effects. There's all sorts of traumas that the characters carry with them throughout the entire show, and it just makes it so interesting because all these people that are very flawed are tasked with possibly defending the entire world from collapse. It's amazing.
My favorite anime is Evangelion, and it may be a boring choice, but I think it's great, and especially now with all the builds being out.
Está bien pasado ver hace rato vi una de 34 millones y luego acá una de 10,000 seguidores. O sea, súper, está potente la gama, el rango. ¿Por qué no me preguntó a mí?
And Evangelion finally having a good ending. I think it's a great one, and I think it may be not the best, but one of my favorites, definitely.
As a car YouTuber in Japan, you might think my favorite anime is Initial D, but it's not. Although the single most viewed video on my channel is based on Initial D, so thank you, Tofu Delivery Boy. To me, the greatest anime ever is Neon Genesis Evangelion. Back in the late 1990s, it wasn't as easy to access anime as it is now. Eva was shown on public TV back in Australia, which was huge because it meant free, non-mainstream anime. I mean, it was non-mainstream back then. I became a huge fan, and when the original E of E movie came out, I thought I'd be fancy and ordered the official VHS tape set from Japan. I downloaded a TXT file of a translated script, printed it out, put the tape in the player, and then sat there in the dark to watch it. And then I had the strongest reaction I've ever had to watching anime ever. There's a scene where one of the main characters dies in a particularly gruesome way. But I read too far ahead and spoiled this death about 30 seconds early, so I'm sitting there in horror to what is about to happen. Like, I felt sick. I've never had such a visceral and emotional reaction to any anime ever, before that or since then.
No sé por qué, va a sonar mamón lo que voy a decir, pero siento que, ¿por qué nadie pone Kaguya? Siento que si alguien me dice, no, que con cierto tipo de personas me empiezan a hablar así de un anime, pierdo las ganas de verlo, güey. Digo, ay, no quiero. No sé por qué. Maybe será como que mamador mío, no sé qué pedo. Pero muchas veces cuando me lo pintan así de ¡buah! Ya no tengo ganas de verlo. Me está pasando con esto con Evangelion.
That's what did it for me.
What's my favorite anime of all time? Drifters, hands down. I mean, listen to this plot. God, portrayed as a smoking, sweater vest wearing, middle-aged man sitting behind a desk and reading a newspaper, enlists the help of Shimazu Toyohisa, Butch Cassidy, Oda Nobunaga, the Sundance Kid, Nasuno Yoichi.
No sé, el querer venderme algo así de que un verga, el Dios está así, porque no sé, hay muchas sinopsis que dices tú, verga, güey, dioses de diferentes mitologías se agarran a vergazos para ver quién tiene la verga más grande. ¿Sabes? Ese tipo de sinopsis están muy buenas, ¿no? Pero no me gusta poner un anime, recomendar algo de esa manera. Está muy, no sé, no me gusta. Un verga de pelo, un verga que se hace zorro, güey, se lo quiere chingar un otro verga. Que se hace culebra, que tire culebra, güey, porque le robó al amigo. No sé, güey, no me gusta.
Sisapo africanus, and Abe no Seme to fight against Satan, who's portrayed as a dark-haired, dark-clothed brat of a 16-year-old girl constantly sitting behind her laptop, who she enlists the aid of Rasputin, Akechi Mitsuhide, Joan of Arc, Minamoto no Yoshitsune, Anastasia Romanov, who are all led by a corrupted interpretation of Jesus freaking Christ. As these two forces fight to either save or destroy, respectively, a fantasy world full of elves, dragons, dwarves, goblins, and the like, who they themselves are subjected to a tyrannical, bigoted rule of humans whose former universal emperor was Adolf freaking Hitler. Look, I know that I've got a personal bias because of who I am, the kind of content that I make, but dude, what more do you want in an anime?
My existing favorite anime of all time would be Made in Abyss. Combination of its narrative, the characters, the design, the music. It's just this wonderful combination of all of these different elements, and also probably the way in which I watched it and enjoyed it and how I was feeling at the time. Hopefully...
Se me hace bien chistoso los outfits a veces de esto verga.
Maybe even a couple of months.
Y que dicen anime de Made in Abyss, de que Fullmetal Alchemist. Monster.
For a few years, I would have a different answer, and I look forward to that day. But until that time, that's what it is.
So my favorite anime ever is certainly Berserk, and I would highlight the 2012 movies because they do a really good job with adapting the golden age.
Uy, güey, se ve que esa madre tiene más filtro que la tubería de aquí, güey. Esta madre se ve rara. Luego Berserk como anime, no, jamás. No he visto la película. Pero sé que el anime es basura y las películas, con todo respeto, tampoco han de llegar tan potentes, no creo. Pero bueno, se ve raro la morra también.
Arc, which is probably the best arc.
Se ve como que, no sé, como que te pusiste el filtro del teléfono de defecto, de que el filtro de desenfoque. El filtro de belleza del teléfono de la cámara.
In any manga ever written. Actually, as a matter of fact, just go read the manga because you won't regret it. You will see why so many people are in love with it. Guts is a really great character. He mixes a lot of, you know, tough guy, action hero style of character with a very emotional human side to him, and he has a...
Uy, güey, te hubieras puesto un sedante para que hable más animado.
A very interesting development throughout the manga, and yeah, you'll see what I mean.
Se pone un sedante y se duerme se duerme la jeringa.
Berserk, hands down, not even close. Guts is the fucking best. Fucking revenge, betrayal, religion, the best cosmic horror art you've ever seen in your whole life. Guts is just so beautiful. You get everything. It's the whole package. What else do you need? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. If I was making anime, I'd give up. Berserk's been done. Give up. It's done. That's what I'd say. Well, maybe don't give up. You know, I guess there can be other things that exist.
Absolute favorite anime has to be Cowboy Bebop. I know that's kind of a popular pick or overrated pick if some of you actually think that, but I think that having a special or favorite something, it has to connect to your life in a special way. Cowboy Bebop really does that for me. So I encountered it when I was a wee young lad. I had no idea what was going on, but everything was cool. The music, the animation, all the characters looked freaking fantastic, and Faye Valentine. You know, I was always naturally interested, but I kind of forgot about it. Then around age 20 or so, it was a really big turning point of my life, and Cowboy Bebop actually came back into it. So I decided to rewatch it, and it kind of had a big connection to the life that I had at that moment. And of course, the final thing has to be Faye Valentine, baby. I mean, the show's just a masterpiece. What can I say? And I even cried one single tear of manliness at the end.
What I think the best anime of all time is Cowboy Bebop, just because it has like nice and short 26 episodes, amazing characters, amazing enemies, and also it's an...
Tiene el pelo al revés, loco. Le salió el pelo por donde no era.
Episodic show. So for instance, you watch episode 1 and 2, skip a few, watch episode 5. Usually you still can kind of follow what's going on, just because each episode kind of builds up its own story and then has a nice conclusion. Sometimes it'll continue a story on, or for instance adds a new character along the way. However, it doesn't really completely destroy your experience if you skip too much or anything like that. And now my favorite anime. I love the 90s. I love the comedy, And then this kind of takes both. It's called Hare Toki Doki Buta. This anime I don't think was localized in English, which is unfortunate, but this anime was the first anime that Watanabe Shinichi...
Digo, no está localizado en... ¿Por qué vemos anime doblado?
Directed. You might know him from a director for Excel Saga. And if you know Excel Saga, you know how crazy that show is.
No sé qué verga es Excel. Conozco el Word, pero no sé qué anime es Excel.
What's funny is Hare Toki Buta was originally just a children's book about this boy and his pig, and just nothing crazy or anything, but then he just took that source material and just completely changed it. And it's because it's so crazy, it's funny, I love it, and you should try to watch it if you get the chance.
My favorite anime is Trigun, for a lot of reasons, but chief of which is it's the first anime that I was able to watch and find without a recommendation. This was something that I went and searched out on my own because I love cowboys and I love old westerns. I also love sci-fi and space travel, and these were two of the things that kind of smashed things together for me. I absolutely loved it, and it was something that I could kind of claim as my own, even though it's enjoyed by millions of people worldwide. I also think that I kind of like it better than Bebop. That's not to say that Bebop is bad, but that's just to start some stuff in your comment section.
Not the best one, but it's definitely something you should all watch. It's called Karekano, otherwise known as
Karekano.
Is in her circumstances. Basically, Hideki Anno, you know, that Hideki Anno, you know, Evangelion was like, what if the next project we all work on was a really cutesy shoujo manga? And everyone's like, excuse me? Like, what? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. What you'll realize is if you go read the manga and you watch the anime, they're actually completely different tones. There is merit to watching both separately. The only thing that's not so great about it is because they basically blew their load on the budget for Evangelion. So like, cool, we got no money. So the series kind of
está mal animado.
Ends on a weird note, and then I'd say go read the manga and finish the rest of the story. But the series is a joy from, like, you know, in my opinion, from start to finish. Even for its flaws, I think it's more interesting because of its flaws. And by the way, because I'm a musical stuff, it is one of the best anime soundtracks of all time. Don't quote tweet me on this. It's the best. It is so good. They basically just took the music from Karekano and then put it in the Evangelion movies later on. That's how good it is. All the stuff in the Evangelion movies, they're like, oh, this is a banger song. Yeah, that came from Karekano. Fun fact.
Now, although my entire life is surrounded by Pokemon, I wouldn't say that would be my favorite anime. It's probably Sailor Moon. I just think it's really cool to see like the character development, like the entire series.
No esperaba Sailor Moon para nada.
They're learning new moves and getting stronger.
No sé si esté tan bueno.
Although the show is kind of predictable, some of the surprises are pretty neat. Like finding out who Chibiusa is really cool, and the introduction of Sailor Saturn, like that entire arc is insane. And all of the main villains also are really cool because you have like Queen Beryl. That entire first season is just insane, top to bottom. You have Queen Nehelenia, which is also equally, if not more crazy than that. And then you have Witches 5. I mean, there's not 5 of them now.
Me da cuenta que realmente ni un streamer, youtuber, vea, bueno, maybe youtuber sí, no, pero streamer no ven nunca la cámara, o sea, nunca están así. Y yo tampoco lo hago.
But at one point there were 5 of the witches. Just in general, I think that Sailor Moon is just like a top to bottom a really good show. There are definitely some low points for sure, but I really do think that it's easily my favorite anime.
For me, the best anime is
lo pone en la esquina más larga, más lejos.
Is GQ Shoujo Arjuna. That anime sort of embodied all that anime could
la neta se ve bien aburrido.
Become. The story was not only incredibly profound, but it was almost spiritual.
Con todo respeto a mi compa el Johnny Depp, se ve bien aburrido ese anime.
And the soundtrack, obviously slightly biased, but I think that's probably one of the best soundtracks written to anime.
No sé, se ve raro que habla y se suena diferente a lo que se mueve la
of all time, and composed by one of the greatest anime composers of all time. It was the first anime that made me question spirituality, made me want to be part of this industry in order to potentially one day get like 1% of what that anime did for me.
My favorite anime is certainly
¿Qué pedo? Lady Bird. Ok. Está bien. Mira, este sí le hubiera servido el filtro que tenía la morra ahorita hace rato. Este sí le hubiera servido.
Bacano. It is the story of a group of
Bacano.
time traveling immortals.
Se ve que es serio, pero no sé. No me llamará la atención, güey. Y aparte la portada se ve que está fea.
And a train containing a monster. Now that said, the best anime is definitely Agretsuko. That's
se parece al de Pongámoslo a Prueba, loco.
The story of an adorable
Jimmy, que se llama el de Pongámoslo a Prueba. Se parece a ese verga, güey. ¿Cómo empieza? El verga es el de Pongámoslo a Prueba.
Young girl who becomes a professional kawaii metal singer. I am an adorable young girl who became a professional kawaii metal singer, and Agretsuko has plagiarized my biography. That's a criminal offense, and I'm gonna solve this gross injustice with the help of a group of time-traveling immortals and a train containing a monster. Either that, or I won't do anything. Anyway, I'm Ladybeard. Goodbye.
私はですね、オットタクシーです。
オッタクシー。iChannel 3 millones, verga, está potente.
割と最近見たアニメの中ですごい
no mames. No entendí qué dijo, y aparte los subtítulos le dará muy abajo.
アニメで分かりやすく言うとドゥラララとビースターズを足して割った感じですね。
Ay, habla bien raro.
キャラクターたちもみんな動物で可愛いけどシリアスな感じで見れるのでおすすめです。みんな見てみてね。
Psycho 100. I just absolutely love the main character so much.
Me gusta su voz. La de ahorita dijo, ¿qué era? Off Taxi dijo que que era un anime de animales pero serio, pues Vista también.
He's so
Este
unconventional.
dijo Mob Psycho, órale. Es que la animación de Mob Psycho está muy buena. La historia, pues, la neta no está tan potente, pero está interesante al menos. Pero
Written like he's not your average main character, and I really appreciate
siento que me está violando, loco.
that. Art style is really unique as well. I just love how it's like so self-contained. The story writing is some of my favorite, and the character development is some of my favorite as well. And if you enjoyed the first season, you'll also enjoy the second season, and I'm super excited because a third season is coming out. Oh my god.
Dije, ay, va a salir tercero, pero ya lo sabe.
My favorite anime? Naruto. Definitely.
Después de 45 minutos alguien dice Naruto. Es una de lentes.
Naruto. Because every guy I met who hadn't watched
Y habla bien.
Naruto was a bitch! To me,
Todos los chicos que conocí que no habían visto Naruto eran unas perras, eran unos culos.
personally, I think the ultimate #1 anime, the best one for me at least, has to be, hands down, no cap, Kaicho wa Maid-sama. Yeah, so the
el del... Sí, no, que Maid-sama... Este sí lo conozco, no lo he visto, pero... Pinche VTuber culero, loco, se ve bien feo el diseño.
Animation isn't the smoothest
Se
compared
ve demasiado, no sé.
to other animes, but the stories, the characters, even the flow of the anime overall, that's what makes me come back to it every single
Bueno,
time.
yo jamás he visto una VTuber más que... Conozco a Nimu, pero tampoco le veo lo que hace.
As much as I want to have like a remake or a season 2, I think this anime ended with a good wrap of conclusion. Therefore, I stand my case best
Dicen que esta madre está bien tóxica.
anime. Thank you.
Not everyone can truly grasp the seminal
Otro que me está violando, güey.
qualities of a show like Bacano. I wouldn't expect the
Igual tampoco me gusta nada el diseño.
layman to
Y el otro que hice Bacano.
appreciate such subtle storytelling and interweaving complex themes. In fact, it's quite rare to have a show that speaks to the viewer's soul as much as it speaks to itself in almost a
No, está feo este diseño.
metaphysical and spiritual plane. My life changed for the better and for the worst
O sea, no me imagino nunca en ningún momento de mi vida viendo un video de este verga.
after Bacano. That show touched me in ways I'll never forget or forgive. Not to mention the musical motifs and jazz-influenced OST, it offers a sonic palette the likes of which Barry B. Benson would be enthralled with. I'm just playing, it's King of the Hill.
There's an old phrase. I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse. A playful expression, albeit grandiose. An anime like Beastars, such actions...
¿Dijo grandioso en español o lo dijo grandioso? Escuché grandioso.
They're commonplace, but can also lead to a student's expulsion, to an ostrich's ostracism, or to an antelope interloper's compulsory extrication. There are a lot of rules when you live in an anthropomorphized universe, as following rules are hard enough for humans. Throw in some quads and the frigid bite of being in high school, and also a lady. Like being a Project Melody fan. I know what you're thinking. Mel, you're being weird again, and also you're a furry. But I assure you, I can like colorful ponies and not want to fap to their Patreon exclusive dojins. And I can like Beastars for what it is, and not just a fanfic. The realism, despite some people being giraffes, and the firefight with the Yakuza. Beastars is my shit. And the music is dope too.
Actually, my best competitor is
No me esperaba que dijera my shit. Está hablando como que muy bonito, pero my shit.
around One Piece or Evangelion, but I'm gonna give this to Hunter x Hunter. It has beautiful plot, world, and story pacing.
Ah, pero el viejo. No lo he visto.
It's just perfect.
Pero pues lo mismo, solo que con peor animación.
And sometimes I just wanna be in a coma and wake up to see its continuation. Let's wake me up when it happens, please. Wake me up!
My favorite ones that I watched when I was a kid, which is Vampire Hunter D. It does an absolutely excellent job of mixing.
Por vampiro, no. Ese, yo creo. Tienes cara.
Dark with fantasy. The art is absolutely mind-blowing and a style I miss so much with all of them. The world is immersive and jaw-dropping. The idea that D is not the stereotypical vampire-esque character makes it so charming and built my desire to follow his story. All of the beautifully done enemy designs to the fight sequences, it was so cool. All of that wrapped in a tale of love yet completely lost hope. Vampire Hunter D is an absolutely phenomenal tale from the story design
Tiene aquí el líquido de los titanes.
to music and forever something that will stay in my heart.
I think my all-time favorite anime would have to be Cardcaptor Sakura. To me, it's a cute and great time watching Sakura go through all these adventures with her friends as she captures cards that run mischief around her city. It's also wonderful to see Sakura grow as a person, becoming more powerful in her skills and seeing how
me imagino que tienen que diferenciarse, ¿no?
all of her relationships with friends and family develop. I love when Sakura tells her friends, especially herself, her usual catchphrase. Everything will definitely be alright. It's super simple, but it reminds me that no matter how hard life gets, eventually, everything will definitely be alright.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Brotherhood, not normal FMA. Don't worry, don't come for me. But what makes it...
Esta verga esta. Esta sí lo siento un poquito más real, no sé por las expresiones. Como que vi 2-3 expresiones que están verga.
My favorite anime is not the leads. I always judge an anime by how much I love the supporting characters. They always win me over in the end. And don't get me wrong, Ed and Al are amazing leads. The battle they go through mentally, physically, and spiritually, emotionally is riveting. It pulls you in, but what wins me over in my heart are the side
las cosas que se ponen en la cabeza, loco.
I would...
Si le quitara este círculo raro que tiene atrás, se miraría bien, güey, la neta. Con estos picos amarillos, güey. Pero esta madre de atrás, de verga. Para el sol, qué verga.
Watch an anime on every single goddamn one of these side characters. Think about it. Let me riddle you this. An anime about Lady Armstrong and like her past? Shit, give it to me. I would watch infinite versions of this show.
And my favorite anime is Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's my favorite because I consider it a masterpiece because it covers themes that are still current to this day. The world building, character development, and the astonishing animation, even though it's an old anime, is amazing. And there's a reason why I got pigtails on my model, dude.
I think my favorite anime has to be Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Why? Because I want to get stepped on. The anime is honestly a breath of fresh air because for me, I got tired of seeing the same generic tropes and
hey, creo que este es el que menos me esperaba, güey, Nagatoro.
Every rom-com. You know, you have the generic tsundere that always hits the main character and like nothing ever progresses. And yet somehow they end up together even though they didn't do anything to work on their relationship together. That really pisses me off.
Este diseño me hace, no sé, los de, ¿cómo se llama esto? Lo de Genshin Impact. Así.
The fact that you can see a massive difference between the two characters, mainly the character of Senpai from episode 1 to where the season leaves off on the last episode, it makes me really happy because I actually enjoy when a character progresses, you know? Even though there's only one season of the anime out right now, I've actually been up to date with the manga, and I have to say, the direction that the manga is going is really, really amazing, and I would...
Tengo que ponerme al día con Nagatoro, con el manga de Nagatoro, pero no sé si hacerlo en stream o para mí nomás, disfrutarlo para mí. Tengo una idea.
Very, very highly recommend you buy the manga and read it for yourself. As well as watching, of course, it has a really banger opening. Also, I want to get kicked in the balls.
My favorite anime is Gintama. It's just such an amazing show because it can go from 0 to 100 like really fast. The story arcs are so good. And I just love how they can mix in comedy, drama, and the Sakuga is great. I love Gintoki.
Sakura o Sakuga. Entendí Sakuga. Si es Sakuga, pues ahí entiendo, ¿no? De que la animación, pero si es Sakura, porque dijo The Sakura is great, ¿no? A ver.
In comedy, drama, and the Sakuga is great. I love Gintoki.
Sí, dijo Sakuga, ok.
He's my husband.
Nunca había escuchado a nadie de referencia como que a la animación en general, como Sakuga.
Oh, I love it. It's like my favorite show ever. Definitely my number one.
The best anime, in my humble opinion, is Toradora.
La voz está muy...
It's an amazing romantic comedy with beautifully human moments that rival...
Me han dicho que ese anime es malísimo.
Even those of the hit...
No he escuchado nada bueno de ese anime nunca.
Television drama, King of the Hill. Watching the characters grow together and discover things about themselves, their own feelings, and...
Es que también hay mucha gente que dice drama, pero confunden drama con toxicidad, loco. En este caso no sé, ¿no? Pero muchas veces sí me ha tocado drama y la toxicidad.
Life in general is always a nice journey from start to finish. It is an undisputed masterpiece of Japanese animation and a classic. Also, anyone who says they don't like Taiga is a little baby bitch with shit taste. Thank you.
My favorite...
Ok, dijo que los que no le gustan Taiga. Taiga, me imagino que sí, he escuchado muchas cosas malas de Taiga. No sé si es el vato o la morra. Pero bueno.
Anime of all time is High School of the Dead. Because of the titties.
The goated anime.
Nice. Acepto el argumento, güey. Se lo doy. Y lo dijo con sinceridad. Se notó que desde el fondo lo... Me hizo reír, güey. Genuinamente me pareció chistosa esta.
Taste.
Fíjate, un VTuber me hizo reír, loco. Y pasaron un chingo, güey. Y ni una.
Thank you.
My favorite anime of all time is High School of the Dead because of the titties.
The goated anime.
Y no sé, también el diseño sí no está tan chido, ¿no? Se me figura la típica morra que es parte de un NTR, güey. De un NTR, güey, que hace NTR a su vato. Se me figura la pinche VTuber esa.
Is Welcome to the NHK. It deals with loneliness
Welcome to the NHK. Ni puta idea.
Better than any medium I've ever watched, regardless of anime. And I think that's a topic
hasta te sabes el nombre, hijo de tu chingada madre.
That anyone relates to. Also, there's a lot of horniness,
Pinche simp.
Which is...
Pero a ver, me hizo reír, la neta. Está cotorra la
gross. Ew.
Nadie puso Monogatari.
The best anime is clearly JoJo. Anyway, guys, represent.com/PewDiePie. I got new merch.
My favorite anime is Parasite.
Esta también la conozco. Bueno, el Pokémon.
I just love
Parasite. Está bueno. Yo me acuerdo que con este anime yo era el típico que yo soy como... ¿Cómo se llama este verga? No me acuerdo el nombre. Yo soy como él porque yo también guardo y... Ay, güey, qué cringe.
How it explores such a cool and creepy concept.
Yo esta la conozco porque según bloqueó las donaciones de $5 porque no quería que le donaran, ¿no? Algo así. Y fue que, a ver, regálamelo a mí.
While also having like really great messages and morals to back up the plot.
Ni me acuerdo de esos mensajes.
That's been my favorite for so many years at this point, because it's kind of...
Yo creo que me sacó un pedo porque pensé que iban a matar a la waifu del vato, güey. Dije, al final, es que hay como un vato que cae y la mata. dije, a la verga, no. Y ya no la mataron. Qué bueno.
Oldie, but that's my number one.
My favorite anime is Code Geass, and it has been for many years now. I think it's just an extremely interesting story told beautifully. I think the protagonist is great. You don't know whether to root for them or root against them by the end of it. And it has an incredible ending that's not only one of the best in anime, but in general just one of the best endings to any show I've ever watched. And it's super rare for an anime to have a good ending, because I think the majority of anime ends in a fucking terrible fashion. Just dog shit rushed endings. But Code Geass, it's an ending that you earn. You go on.
Pues sí, pero según después sacaron una película y mandaron a la verga al final, así que.
This long journey, this adventure through heaven and hell, thick and thin. And I just think everything pays off at the end, and it's so incredible.
Igual creo que tampoco, yo nunca me exalté tanto quitando el final y el momento donde el verga, el prota le da una orden sin querer a la de pelo rosa y ahí valió verga, la de pelo rosa. Esas dos veces fueron las que me choqueó el anime. Las demás fue como que, está bueno la verga, pero así choqueante que diga, a la verga. Nomás cuando lo de la orden que ordenó masacrar a todo y la del final.
Incredible.
It definitely has to be Detective Conan. This series was,
según este también tiene un chingo de capítulos, ¿no?
My first sort of introduction to the Japanese music scene.
¿Por qué está con cubrebocas?
And to
Dios, se parece a una compañera del salón.
Rock and J-pop also gave me the inspiration to want to become a professional musician in Japan. Until then, of course, I love music and
sí, se parece un chingo a una compañera de mi salón de la universidad.
Singing, but to actually dream of becoming a professional
pero más blanca ella.
musician was sort of Detective Conan was my sort of starter for that. First ever CD that I actually bought myself was the Detective Conan opening, ending, theme song sort of compilation album, and I still treasure it to this day. And so yeah, that's really a big part of the roots of me becoming a professional musician. And if you haven't checked out the series, it's super long, so it's kind of hard to get into it halfway, but I recommend the movies. The movies are really, really entertaining, so thank you so much. Rock on.
The greatest anime of all time, throughout all of the history of the world and mankind, is none other than Samurai Champloo. The plot is simple, yet the animation is top tier for its time. The characters are unique and diverse. And let's not forget the iconic soundtrack.
Lo más cerca que vamos a estar de ver a Jujutsu en este video.
Composed by Nujabes, Fat John, and Tucci, which allowed the modern sound of hip-hop combined with the classic Japanese samurai Edo period. Put together, chef's kiss. All in all, this anime is amazing. In fact, it's better than anything that anyone could think of. I don't mean just their favorite anime, I mean any thoughts they could have on their own. This anime is better than that. And I challenge anyone who thinks otherwise.
Mob Psycho 100, probably the best anime I've ever seen.
¿Cómo cambió el audio?
It's got action, it's got great animation, it's got great character arcs, it's got everything. Full disclosure, it's not even my favorite anime, but it is, when I look at it, I think I can't
la neta, yo podría tener una barba así si me la dejara, si no me la rasurara, pero no sé, bueno, quién sabe.
Find one
Estoy moreno,
bad thing to say about it. It's just really great and a great time, and I like it. Plus, it's even got a great English dub. Like, everything about that anime is just really good.
No! Jamás veré algo doblado.
Mine is Nana. I watched.
Bueno, depende. Primero tengo que verlo subtitulado. Luego, maybe. Dicen que este está buenísimo, Nana.
Watched it for the first time when I was like 14, 15, 16.
No lo veré porque la neta no me gusta nada el diseño. A menos no lo veré en este. Maybe, para mí.
Somewhere around there. I think why I like it so much is because it's kind of different from a lot of anime that I'd seen previously. It's kind of more of a real life drama than the typical anime that you would see. It was kind of like peeking into the drama of older people, and now that I am older, when I watch it, it feels very relatable in a lot of ways. Yeah, and originally I didn't like the art style of Nana. It was a big reason why I didn't watch it at first, but now that I've seen it, I absolutely adore the art style.
Lo entiendo. A mí yo no me gustaba el diseño. Hasta que lo vi me gustó.
So much. And it's
y ahora me mama el diseño de yo. Se me hace uno de los mejores.
So yeah. Nana.
I still watch some anime today, but I definitely watched a lot when I was in high school. Stuff like
Fruits Basket, Shin-Chan, Trigon, and I even had kind of a soft spot for a little bit of Cardcaptor Sakura, honestly. But my favorite anime ever is definitely Azumanga Daioh. I love this show so much. It's so funny. It has great music, super catchy. I used to watch it after I play like some super scary video game or watch a horror movie or something, and I'd put on some Azumanga Daioh to help me go to sleep. It's a very good, feel-good anime for me. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. The second best anime, King of the Hill.
My God, are you still talking?
Tough question. Do I go with something from the heart, like Record of Lodoss War or Slam Dunk? Or do I go with something obscure and unknown, like Death Note or One Piece? Ultimately, no. I'm going with my favorite, which is the 1993 masterpiece, Ninja Scroll. Amazing animation and sound effects. Check. One of the most impressive collection of bad guys in a movie ever. Check. Most importantly, was the first time I've ever seen a cartoon booby. I was 13 years old when this movie came out, and I never had seen an animation before or an anime, and it changed everything. It was the talk of the school. Everyone had to see it before there was Toonami. Before there was Dragon Ball Z, before we got even Sailor Moon, Crown Jewel, the pinnacle. And if you haven't seen it, shame on you, because I don't know shit about anime, and I've seen that. Do yourself a favor and go check it out right now. It's great.
My favorite anime of all time is Tanshikokosei no Nichijou. Ow! You thought I was gonna say Meitante Conan, right? Well, you're not wrong. However, when I think about my all-time favorite anime, there are two factors that are very important to me, and those are comedy and replay value. You could just randomly watch any episode and they are all equally good. It has my exact favorite type of humor, which is this like really exaggerated boketsukomi, and the shitty animation not only makes it even more evergreen to me, but it actually makes it even funnier because they take such liberties in their physical comedy. I really appreciate that. So yeah, Daily Lives of High School Boys.
Debió haber dicho because of titties.
Dorohedoro is the best anime ever made. It's only one season and it's on Netflix. You probably haven't seen
it. Solo por la adaptación, güey. El manga está de god, güey, pero
but you should.
Aunque al final no me gustó de Dorohedoro, al final
a lot of fun, dirty, grimy stuff. So I would vote Dorohedoro.
My favorite anime is Haikyuu because it's got amazing character building and an amazing sense of humor that comes from those characters and not really from jokes. It's great at creating stakes and makes you interested in something that you're probably not interested in originally, which is volleyball. So, thumbs up, Haikyuu, let's go.
I had always struggled to find my favorite anime because new ones keep coming up and older ones back in 90s, they got special place in their heart. However, I finally recently found one. Jujutsu Kaisen 0. I went to cinema.
Di Jujutsu Kaisen, ¿para qué solo la película? Entonces el anime es una mierda, ¿o qué?
4 times so far, and I got.
Yo no la he visto, y la voy a ver aquí en YouTube, en Twitch, porque no vale verga.
Bogey Boys. Yeah, they do that in Japan, but that's not the only reason I went back. I also got 2 cups, popcorn case, and this gigantic cup holder. Anyway, first of all, it's visually stunning. Mappa did yet another amazing job. And if you've read manga, you know production so much and it all works. The amalgamation of CG and hand-drawn art, voice acting, story, visual and sound effect, everything is top-notch. I'm simply blown away by how much anime can deliver. It's been even said that this movie is the reason why the Spider-Man new movie didn't come to Japan soon enough, because they saw Jujutsu Kaisen 0 was such a huge competition and didn't want to fight it.
No es cierto. No, ni yo me creo eso. La película de Spider-Man la guardaron porque Jujutsu. Uy, no sea mamona. Ni yo me creo esa.
I was like, really? anime versus live action show, which
La
is
animación de la pelea de la
big
tortuga,
as hit
cierto.
with Marvel and Sony.
Por eso yo...
It's just a good. Sounds like this anime reached that level.
One that's always been there for me throughout the years of watching new anime has been Eureka 7. The original, not.
Le hubiera querido mucho más Kimetsu, sí, sé que pegó mucho la película, pero... La película después... No.
Anything else. Story behind Eureka 7 is unique and nice, you know, with the corals and Eureka as a person and a character and a creation. Just to sum up what I think about Eureka 7 and why I love it to anybody who hasn't seen Eureka 7 or it's been a while is the fact that it's don't meet your heroes, or at least don't have an expectation of the people that you do admire.
Eureka 7, a mech kind of mid-2000s type anime. It's got romance, it's got mechs, it's got dope house music. It's really shaped a lot of my music production.
Es que a mí me vale ver lo que tenga, si lo tiene, pero lo hace mal, porque tiene mecha, tiene vampiro, tiene... O Gans tiene un chingo de cosas y un chingo de cosas mal. Lo de los vampiros en Gans es una mierda. Lo de los gigantes estos extraterrestres es una mierda.
This is like a huge inspiration to me. And of course, we got anime women. Let's go.
Y aparte dijeron anime, sí cierto, Natsu, no me acordaba. Este güey está pendejo.
Oh, that's a tough one because I feel like it can change day to day. Like one day I might say Ava, one day I might say Bebop, and I think today I'm gonna say, I think maybe Perfect Blue. I think it predicted so fucking much about how we are online, and to do, it's like one of the only legitimately amazing animated horror films. There's just an infinite amount you could dig into that movie, so that would be my answer.
私 YouTube で毎日ラーメンをすすり続けて7年目に突入しました。早速なんですが、私すするが好きなアニメは三田拓也先生作メジャーです。私すするも小学校の頃に野球をやっておりまして、ちょうどその頃にメジャーのアニメが放送されていたので、
ni está subtitulado, ni ha de estar traducido.
数々の逆境に置かれても常にポジティブ、そして全力で立ち向かっていく五郎のこの主人公感。
Se me hace raro cómo hablan así, loco, porque no hablan bien.
にはね、すごくこう憧れもあるし、とてもね見ていて励まされる部分もあります。子供の頃に見ても大人になってからも楽しめるこの王道野球アニメメジャーをぜひね皆さんにもご覧いただけたら嬉しいですね。
That's easy. Outlaw Star. And the reason? Aisha Clan of the Catal Empire.
Qué feo se ve.
Well, here's a great thing that I'm going to tell you. No, you will not have to watch this for 500 hours and then it'll get good. You will not have to sit there and watch these characters do goofy ass shit that
Referencia One Piece.
Nobody cares about, even for a minute. If you're looking for Demon Slayer for adults, watch the anime Dororo, the modernized.
What the fuck? Si buscas un Demon Slayer para adultos, ¡oye la mamada! ¡Tremenda mamada! Para adultos dice. Maybe por lo de la morra esta que matan y el rage que tiene este verga, pero no está tan adulto este verga, esta madre. Y aparte, no, después de que pasa eso, empeora bastante el anime. Y la animación también.
Or Dororo, however you want to say it. It's a banger. One man cursed by his father, took away all his limbs, becomes a puppet man made out of swords.
Lo vendió de la verga, loco.
And with every demon he slays, he gets a piece of his body back. It is perfection. It's like 25 episodes. It's good as shit. And I hope you enjoy it.
Samurai Jack! Woo, yeah! Was a good cartoon, but the greatest anime of all time is Fist of the North Star. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if I'm the only person who says this, but much like people say MF Doom is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, I'd say that Fist of the North Star is probably your favorite mangaka's favorite manga, or anime if you want to be more in with the point. Just think of all the massive influence it has. The brutal violence, which would go on to influence Berserk, which is considered the greatest manga of all time. The fast-paced fighting, which would influence Dragon Ball Z, the biggest anime franchise of all time. The art style and personality, which would influence JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I feel like the current generation has kind of been pushed back as for everything new coming out. So I just wanted to show Fist of the North Star some love. And I could go on a 3-hour video essay right now detailing you how important it is and great it is and all that, but unfortunately I only have 4 seconds left to live.
A little bit unconventional, but my favorite anime of all time definitely is Bakuman, which you may say here, an anime about 2 manga artists making manga. That's the anime that you like. Ultimately, Bakuman for me is what made me like actually really be like, all right, I want to get out there and get out my dreams. I'm inspired to do great things, and I will never give up. It's a very triumphant tale of 2 Japanese high school teenagers who have the dream. They know what they want to do. They want to make sick manga. They want to make the next great shonen manga and shonen jump, or wherever they can get their foot in the door into the industry at. Maybe you'll become a complete fan of Mashiro and Muto Ashirogi, just like me. Yeah.
My favorite anime is Attack on Titan because I don't know. That shit was just cool. Animation looked funny in the first season, but then you just like, it's kind of like Game of Thrones. You're just like, bro, the whole thing's so cool. Who cares? XD. Anyways, the whole thing just makes my pee go wiggly and my tail wag. Basically, because I looked at it and it was like, what? The music's so good too. I remember I used to be a little baby boy making little YouTube videos, and I was like, oh man, the Attack on Titan music would really fit here. It fits.
It fits. If I had to choose, I'm gonna have to go with Miss Kobayashi because
me esperaba un chingo de youtubers, pero te lo juro que no me esperaba esta. Es una... No mames, güey, hijo de su chingada madre. No me esperaba una actriz porno. Y lo peor es que yo he visto un chingo de videos de esta. Bueno, no un chingo, pero sí la conozco. Dice que dice oficial on only account natural anime. No sabía eso yo, güey. Yo solo había visto cuando se la culiaba, no sabía que le gustaba el anime. Voy a poner este en la portada, loco.
Because the amount of comedy, action, but also a little bit of drama kind of makes up.
No he terminado la segunda temporada, por cierto.
For the perfect slice of life. The characters in this show are
está bien buena esta actriz.
Just so adorable. The intro and the outro smack.
Pues ahí está el nombre, ya lo pueden ver y buscarla, ¿no?
My best friend and I can watch this show all the time and not get tired of it. If you can enjoy a show
se lo repito, Violet Myers.
Not get tired of the episodes, you don't skip it.
Es en la amarilla, en la hub.
Anything. That's how
no
you
sé si en la otra está, pero yo la conozco nomás en el hub.
Know it's your favorite anime. Also, I have all the manga. I have the figures. I have freaking Toru's tail.
Greatest anime of all time is, of course, none other than Azumanga Daioh. Azumanga Daioh, of course, if you're not familiar with it, is a slice of life comedy that follows the lives of a bunch of Japanese high school girls. Clearly something that's very relatable to me. Probably one of my most...
No escuché nada de lo que dijo la actriz, la Violet. No mames, que no sé, no.
Quoted moments of all of anime is the scene where Osaka falls asleep at her desk and daydreams about Chiyo's father, who's portrayed as a cat. He's learning English, so he pops up and he goes, "Hello everyone. How are you? I thank you. I wish I were a bird." That's why Azumanga Daioh is the best anime ever.
The best anime in my opinion is K-On! Because it's super cute, lighthearted, and funny. This is such a good show. 10 out of 10, it'll make your day.
Yo ese anime lo conozco por el hilo.
Actually, it'll make your whole year. I guarantee.
One that I'm choosing is one that just resonates, one that I can come back to.
Yo este güey sí lo conozco. Por Twitter, este verga en Twitter a veces pone un chingo de cosas que dices tú, a la verga, información.
Is evocative of so many emotions. Parasite, the Maxim. The way
yo lo sigo en Twitter este güey. Por cierto, síganme en Twitter. Perfil. Ahí está, síganme en Twitter. Me puse la esta del Tao. Ahí está. Síganme en Twitter.
condenses, humanity, and the way it condenses so many different ideas in just one season. That is just so phenomenal to me. The fact that I can come back to this series and enjoy it and gain so much from it, have a different perspective, and know that if I was to, live life some more and experience more things, and I come back to this show, it still evokes that same sort of emotion, but also new emotions based on, you know, the life experience that I've had.
My favorite anime is Hikaru no Go. Biggest thing that stood out was every time that I watch it or read it, and it's over, I get really emotional because it feels like I'm saying goodbye to like a bunch of friends. I watch Dragon Ball all the time. One of my favorite animes growing up was Iria Zerum the animation, but Hikaru no Go, for some reason, it gives me like emotions. For that reason, Hikaru no Go, my favorite anime. Good manga too.
My favorite anime is Cowboy Bebop. I think it was revolutionary and amazing, and the stories were cool, and the characters are fascinating and original to this day.
My favorite anime, or at least the one I really like recommending to people, would probably
La de Chainsaw Man.
be Mushishi.
No me acuerdo cómo se llama la de Chainsaw Man, pero la conozco por los memes.
One, because I don't know how they did it, but they got like the voice actors they picked phenomenal, and they sound like the same.
Así está chueca, la morra está así, güey. Está hablando así.
Like the English dub and like
no
the
sé, no le
Japanese
duele el
dub,
cuello.
which I think is really cool. I like how it focuses on how every kind of aspect on like the food chain and like nature, like, ecosystem and stuff like that, it has like a role. And even though there might be, you know, bad side effects, it's just a byproduct of them existing, and they all are important in their own retrospective right. It's on my must-watch list for sure. So if you haven't seen it, 100% would recommend it. Really good.
Oh, and we're back, baby. Welcome back. If you made it to the end of this video, I highly thank you for sitting through.
Me mama como parece un video super cabrón, güey, pero en realidad el vato nomás pegó videos y ya hizo el inicio y el final y ya. Tampoco tan potente el video, güey. Nomás tradujo los japoneses y puso los canales así y ya. Que bueno, sí es algo, pero tampoco es tanto trabajo. Estamos echando mentira. Bueno, X. Esto ya me vale verga, la neta, así que no voy a escucharlo. Chingón el video, likes. Este anime man, imagínate. ¿Cuántos videos tiene? ¿De qué hace videos este verga? Ay. Ah, ok, no hace tantas cosas de anime. Ok. Bueno, yo me quedo con la opinión de la actriz porno, la Violet Mayer, porque es la única que conozco. De la VTuber esta que dijo Tiris, ¿dónde está? Esta Miyune, porque fue la única que me hizo reír. Y había uno que este verga me cayó mal, loco. Del de Tengen Toppa. El de R0. Y de hecho para las portadas voy a agarrar esta, la actriz porno, porque va a dar vistas, maybe. Y el PewDiePie, porque pues obviamente ese verga va a dar vistas también. Con esos tres voy a hacer la miniatura. Porque una VTuber, una actriz porno y el YouTuber más grande. A ver si pega. A ver si pega un video de 1 hora, va. ¿Quién verga va a querer ver un video de 1 hora? Bueno. ¿Ahora quién, no? Siempre. ¿Ahora quién? Aquí estás tú, pendejo. El Natsu. Si es Natsu, ha de haber uno que otro. Ay, no quiero ver a manga, ya estoy cansadísimo. Me cansé un chingo. Pero bueno, ahí está.